Tables are in Google Sheets. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 project management sample tables that Google includes in their new tables feature. If you do not have access to tables, and you can see this by going to insert. If you do not have tables showing up here, make sure to check out the link in the description below to download a copy of this Google Sheet into your drive so that way you can start using tables right now. All right, so let's just jump right in. So I'm going to quickly show you these 3 templates. And then I'm going to walk you through how to do things like the new group by view. And we can do this by status. Show you how to get out of that. We're going to show you the column types, a quick review of that, how to add or remove placeholders, how to customize the color in this, how to add columns and rows. And then I'm also going to wrap up and show you how to reference the table in formulas. So let's go ahead and jump right in and look at these templates real quick. So they have 3 templates. The first one is called tasks, and it has basically a quick task management flow with these different columns, a couple drop downs for priority and status, and then entering start and end dates, milestones, a place to link deliverable files, notes, etc. And then under project resources, they have where you can add names, roles, statuses. And then this kind of has a capacity layout where you can have how many hours they have per week, how many total hours they have available, how many they have allocated, and then figure out based on that what capacity you have available for new projects. And then one here for office hours. And you can look at some meeting dates. It looks like is kind of what they're doing here. All right, and so next let's jump into some of the cool new features of tables. So the one that I'm excited about is this group by status. I think this is pretty cool. So let me show you what happens if we add a new row here, for example, in progress. It shows your group by is out of sync, and so you do have to refresh to get that to pump up into there. But that is how that works. So I'm pretty excited about this. I think there's going to be a lot of people excited about this grouping. It's a pretty cool view. And then if you need to exit the view, just click on this little icon and then you can do exit view. And then whatever one you save, you can bring back up. Another thing is this is kind of like the old filter view. So you can also do things like if you don't want to see the P0 priority, you can get those out of there. And then if you get those in here, let's go ahead and get out of here. If we go back to that group by status, that'll drop out of there. So it'll save any kind of filters that you add as well. And so in that regard, it's like the filter views. So if you want to delete one of these, so it'll list them here. But if you want to delete it, go into it and then click here. And you can either rename, duplicate, or delete that view. And then it's not in there anymore. All right, so one of the things in here now is, so that was the filter view. But what if you want to filter like we're used to when we build our own tables and we use that filter tool when we add it here. So in the tables, now you have to click on this and then do filter column. And then you can see that normal filter as usual. The sort, however, is still here. So it's fairly easy to use in that regard. And you can do it that way, just like that. So next, let's look at how to change our color for this. And so you can just go to customize table colors. And you can see the different options. They have some custom new ones here that I'm sure they thought looked pretty slick for this release. You can do a custom one from here and do a custom color, or you can do it directly from here and use one of these colors if you like. The one thing to note is if you do that, it will not update if you then go back here and pick again. So if that happens, you just need to select this and do a reset, and then it will be synced to this. You can also customize this in here. You could add things like the little border in between, for example, if you want something like that. You can also go from here and turn off alternating colors if you don't like that. You can also adjust the table range here if you need to manually for any reason. You can also add more columns and rows. So you can add some columns like this, just like we would normally. You can rename these. One thing to note is you cannot leave them blank. It says the header row cell must have a value. So we can insert columns in the middle. We can insert them on the right, and it picks up like that. One thing to note is if you have some empty columns over here, if you type next to it, new call, it will incorporate it. If you do it one over, it will not. So keep that in mind if you're doing stuff and you don't want to be incorporated as part of the table. You might just want to make some little buffer there so it doesn't automatically grab it. So it does the same thing with rows. You can add some more rows here and it automatically grabs it. You can also add some rows in the middle. One cool thing I've noticed with this, and I'm not sure if it's across the board 100%, but I did notice if you have some formulas and add more rows, the table automatically brings down those formulas for you. So that is pretty cool. And that actually still works in AppScript as well. So column types. So this is a big change in regards to how Google Sheets normally works. So these column types gives a kind of a data validation, I guess, for each column. And so they give you a number of different options. So numbers, text, you could do different kinds of dates, drop downs. One thing with drop downs is they've gotten rid of where you deny the input or reject input. So it's a little interesting. You can now type in anything technically, but we'll see how that shakes out. Checkboxes, smart chips, of course, they've been pushing that out. And then you could just do none as well. And then one thing while we're here is placeholders. So they've added placeholders, which is kind of cool and helping the users to figure out what they should be putting in. If you want to turn it off for any reason, you can just uncheck and get rid of those placeholders. If you're wondering what happens if you add a new column, is we go here and we have to select a column type. So if we do text example, then we can do show placeholders and it shows basically the column header. So whatever changes to, if we say, let's say project name here, then it'll show that project name. So that's how those placeholders work there. All right, so to wrap up this video, I'm going to show you a quick sample here of the project resources. And so this is kind of a capacity here. So in this, how we reference in formulas is like a named range. We can use that table name. And so let me show you where that table name is. So you can rename a table and it's like name ranges. It can't contain a space. So if you do space resources table, it cannot start with a digit or have a space. And so it's kind of like name ranges in that sense where you can't add a space there, but you can name a table. And then once you have the table name, you can reference it in formulas like this, where you have the table name. And then inside these brackets, you put the column header. So whatever the column name is, you can put it in there and reference it. So you could do sum ifs, for example, just a simple sum. Here we have, I think, a unique on the roll. So just a quick heads up on how those work. So you can use that for filters, all kinds of stuff, queries and such. So pretty slick. So that will wrap it up for today's video. Make sure to check out the other ones I'm releasing as we speak on the other templates they have. And then I'm going to roll out a full video here shortly going through what I've discovered about tables and the little quirks that there are, such as you cannot put a formula inside of a header. So that removes some hacks we were able to do before with array formula. So I will do that shortly, but in the meantime, check out those other videos. Let me know in the comments if you've been using tables in Google Sheets already, or if you downloaded this one. And let me know your experience. I want to know how this is working for people and if it's going to be the next new thing or if it's going to be kind of a disaster that Google's going to have to fix to make it workable. So thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe if it was useful, and see you guys soon.